peed that time. Not true. Jim did. Anyways, welcome back. Welcome back. When we left off, Larry was threatening to tell a story that we've collectively decided that he's not going to tell. So, anyways.
I want to hear it.
I don't think that's how it went, but
I want to hear
no, we kind of left off with you saving my butt
Yeah.
because I was definitely going to be in a position where I was going to be really feeling it from Dad if he would have walked in the way you walked in the house.
Yep.
But then there's another story where somebody else, another savior, saved one of our tails. Yeah, that was a crazy night. We all decided that one night it was at your house now, and
Yep.
your mom and dad, I think they were on one of their bowling or golfing trips. I don't remember. It had to have been like a golfing thing or something. I don't remember what it
Probably.
was. And
Cindy wasn't there.
no,
So someone else was supposed to be watching us and making sure that we were doing the right thing.
You.
So, oh no, I wasn't to be trusted,
I
which
wasn't in charge.
probably made sense.
I wasn't in charge. I just came home for the weekend. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't believe anybody said you're in charge to me.
well, by default, they would say that the older person should be, you know,
Didn't take
kind of in
much.
Hey,
charge.
I think I even drove my own car over. I could have not come over that weekend, you know?
But you did.
You invited me.
Well, I invited you. Okay.
You said, bring the beer.
You know, actually, I think he's right as far as inviting him, because we had a bunch of people over.
This could be true. This could be true.
If I remember correctly,
Who was there?
I know me, you,
Oh, I wasn't there. I was in golfing trip.
Mark Smith,
Yeah. Smitty was there.
Jimmy,
Jimbo.
Brian Bays,
BB.
How's that go?
Brian Bays,
Yeah, money.
And
David Carroll,
David Carroll.
David Carroll.
Who I probably will not be Facebook friends with after he hears about this or sees it.
that's
But go ahead.
Well, we don't have to get into everything.
He doesn't like me anyways. It doesn't matter.
We don't have to discuss everything, but that's quite a few. That's a big list for you.
So,
Supposed to be
anyways,
home alone.
Yeah, well, I'm not
How
a
many is
very.
that? 6?
I'm not a good son. Okay, I'm not a good son.
Well, but what it was is you were afraid of the dark,
Yeah,
and it was going to get dark at least one point, so you had a lot of people over to make you feel better
yeah, because the sun goes down every day.
every day.
Every day.
That's what it was, right? It was just
Yes.
It was just safety in numbers.
That's
It is.
that's what it was, Mom.
And you want to know what? It was
Jimmy's
really.
fault.
It's hard to have 6 people over and you can't watch any movies because you're not allowed to use the VCR. It's horrible.
and I just want to point out too.
Yeah, what's that about?
I would just like to also point out that Grant is my elder by 4 months,
Oh,
2 months.
You can't even count. It's 2
His
months, you
fault?
schmuck.
So I was being influenced by an older child.
let me add here. As I recall, I was, making macaroni and cheese or something in the kitchen, and when I came out,
Yeah, you were.
3 people were gone. That's all I know.
That's how
Oh,
the mob
Grant,
I
works.
don't remember anybody saying, "Hey, we're going out for a while."
That's how the mob works.
I'm like, hey, Grant, where you going? Don't leave me behind.
All right, so what happened?
So, anyways,
Let's get this dumpster fire over, okay?
He crawled out the window.
I guess it's better than falling out of the bedroom closet.
Yet again. Or tearing a cabinet down with your ass. Anyways, hey, M&M's.
So we decided we're going to go exploring again. We like doing this exploring thing for some reason. Grant and I did.
Right. And Smitty.
And Schmitty.
Yeah.
We did a couple things.
It wasn't in the middle of the night though.
No, it wasn't like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was more like evening, like 10, 11 o'clock.
It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock maybe. Yeah, but it wasn't like at 2. Yeah, it wasn't 2 or 3 in the morning. Let's just.
Well, let me put it to you this way. It was late enough to where a young lady that was still of high school age shouldn't be having visitors.
Oh no, where's this going?
Weird. I don't like it.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Well, we end up going out and, seeing what trouble we can get into without really getting into trouble.
Yeah.
Knocking over mailboxes and such.
Right.
Smitty.
Schmitty. ended up, we went over to a young female's house by the name of what I think her name was Natalie, wasn't it?
Yes.
Natalie.
That's what you told me it was.
Yeah. Natalie and Grant, they kind of liked each other. And when I say like,
We had a thing.
Yeah, they were liking each other.
Yeah, like.
And somehow I think there was an arrangement before we started our little explorations, and we ended up going over there.
Okay.
To the sum of somebody knocking on Natalie's window and saying, "Hi, how are you?"
How you doing?
Lo and
You
behold,
didn't know that then.
I didn't even know it then.
a voice from off in the distance says, "Natalie, honey, who are you talking to?"
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And what did you do?
Shit! Ran.
Yeah, he bails. He bails on me.
You're on your own, see you.
And all of a sudden I hear this.
Me and Mark, literally, I think we disappeared into the darkness like we were a shadow.
Yeah.
We slinked away. We didn't leave him. We just slinked away. While Grant got the butt chewing of his life from Natalie's mom.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
While looking eyeball to eyeball to their two Dobermans that, had she not been there, I would have not been here, probably. Because they were like, oh, a snack.
You'd have just been a little mauled, talking a little funny, looking a little funny, but you would have probably survived.
So about
Maybe.
the time, about the time he was getting his butt chewed out, it ended with something like, "Wait until your parents hear about it," or "I'm calling your parents," something to that tune.
Yep.
And then she ended it, and then it was like simultaneously, the three of us looked at each other and we like, "Jimmy." And
not doing anything.
We ran as fast as we could. I mean, we were just like jumping fences, we're cutting through yards,
Yeah.
getting all the way back to Grant's house, running the house. Here's Jimmy with an apron on, wooden spoon in his hand.
Mac and cheese
Mac
night.
and cheese. Mac and cheese, guys. What's mac and cheese?
Okay.
And the only thing that Grant could get out of his mouth when he walked in that door was, "Jimmy, oh my God, you gotta do me a favor. I'm never gonna ask you to do anything for me ever again. You just gotta save my ass. You know, you gotta act like your dad."
I said that a lot. I think I said, your dad, your dad,
Your dad,
your dad,
your dad.
your dad. And
What?
he was like, what?
What?
Then
Your
the
dad,
phone,
the phone
rings.
Yeah. And then what happened, Jim?
Oh, I don't remember.
You were on the phone. Hello, this is Jim Misson's home. I'm not Jim Misson. I'm his son, James Misson.
The phone rang and I picked it up. And I said, hello. And I forget what she said her name was. Wanted to know if this was Grant's dad. So I said yes, because Grant asked me to. And I just kept my voice down, lowered, and she's just explained how he was over at her house talking to her daughter, and it's a late hour, and I think you should know where your kids are, and blah blah blah. And I said I had no idea he even left his room, but I will definitely be disciplining him.
I do remember specifically you one time had said, "Oh, did he?"
Yes, I did.
Did he? For a half second there, I thought that was really Dad. I thought, oh man, that's a dad. But that was kind of, going back to one of our first podcasts, that was kind of characteristics of the '80s,
Yes.
because the parents did that kind of stuff. They call the other parent. Nowadays,
Yes.
they don't do that at all. Anymore.
No.
They don't care. They don't want to be involved.
And,
They just
and,
want you
and
to
I
know.
do want to say that after I hung up the phone, I did discipline you. I sent all your friends home and grounded you for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
You actually did. You hung the phone up and you looked at Grant and you said, "You're grounded."
I did say you
I
did.
did.
And he didn't leave the house the rest of the weekend.
Nope, I was in trouble, so I didn't do it. Yeah, that was kind of scary
So I
because
did discipline.
those dogs were nasty. But yeah. I just remember coming down, I was going, "Your dad, your dad, your dad, your dad. You gotta do this. Your dad." And ring, and Jimmy just looks at me and picks up. And I think at that moment, that's when you kind of went, "Oh, I get it now." Is this Grant's dad? And you went, "Oh, I get it now. I'm Dad." Okay. Yes, yes, it is. You did what?
Oh, did he?
Really? He did, huh? Yeah.
That was, oh, did he?
Oh, he did he?
I'm sitting there chewing my nails like I'm going to get in trouble. I'm like, "There's no way my dad's ever going to find out." I don't care.
Oh my God.
No, I think I was more worried about your dad after what he did with us.
Oh, he'd come down on you too.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Would have just assumed you were there, basically.
Probably the one that instigated the whole thing, I would imagine.
Yeah. And that was the day that my brother became my savior. And he saved me.
I do believe we did have a little talk after that.
That was the day
'Cause
my
you
brother
did- 'cause
became
then
my
you did come
daddy.
through- You did come clean with all the stuff you were doing, and I was like, you guys gotta be a little smarter than that.
Didn't you start the conversation by saying that you weren't in charge?
I wasn't in charge.
This is why I brought Nathan in. He's my counsel.
I was not in charge.
I was like, Your Honor, I'd like to point out that he said he wasn't in charge.
I wasn't. That doesn't mean I can't discipline and scold.
That's right.
So what happened with you and the girl? Did that end it? Or did the forbidden love make it so exciting you guys had to keep hanging out?
No, pretty much. It was on a road to nowhere to begin with. And after that, she was like, well, my mom doesn't want me to talk to you anymore. And I went, oh, all right. Okay. Just moved on to, I think it was her friend Michelle. And then-
Trailer, wasn't it? Shell trailer.
I think so. And then I started like going, hey, so how you doing?
Oh my gosh!
And anyway,
Michelle's
and that,
parents were okay with, late night
yeah, they
boys coming in there.
That's not our only late night adventure that we had like that.
Oh, let's save that for another time.
oh my god.
I
Just go on without me.
100%.
That's all
was
I'm
not
going to
there
say.
for that one.
That's all I'm going to say to that one.
Yeah.
Just go on without me. I'll be all right.
Okay, and you're like, no. Never been so happy to see blinking lights in my life.
Oh my god.
They're like, what?
Well, you might as well get it all out there while you're going at it.
No, I'm not doing that. That's not for tonight.
That's a whole.
I
nother
think if
dumpster
your
fire.
parents watch this is going to be overload on them.
Yeah.
So we need to give them a break.
Was that the long bike ride one?
That is the long bike ride.
When you start talking about blinking lights, I'm like, oh, that's the long bike ride.
That was a long one. That was a long one.
All I have to say, Grant, is she couldn't have been that cute. That's all I have to say. And I'm sure Larry was thinking that the whole way back.
He's like, she was cute, but she's not worth all the mosquito bites that he incurred. I'm surprised he didn't go to the hospital.
I'm left outside while he's
He's
doing
cool.
whatever, and mosquitoes are just literally just sucking me dry of blood on my ankle.
We're not going to get into the other stories, but this is one of a long list of excursions that Grant has made for the opposite sex. I just want to say that. And we'll cover them all right here on Pardon Me, Brother.
This will be our final episode. I'm so sorry. Based on funding, there's not going to be any more.
Funding or Grant's death after his parents listen to this. Your dad catches up with you, right?
I'm so screwed this time. I'm so screwed.
It's going to be an interesting Thanksgiving dinner. I would imagine.
Why did you want to do this podcast again?
For so many other reasons.
So, when Deb came back, right? And she's like, how's the podcast going? And I'm like, I think it's going to be the last one because when this one comes out, I said that we pushed the line on this one a little bit.
Oh, it's been fun though. It's been a good time. Hey, let's swing to something, Larry, a little bit better. Remember in high school when I had the Chevelle?
Of course.
You had the Cutlass. And
Story in itself.
yeah,
That's a funny story.
that's a good story too. Well, I was thinking about that one, but why don't you tell us a story about when Recto backed up into me? What happened with that? What was that all
Oh
about?
my gosh. So, all right. So, I mean,
Set the stage.
I got to set the stage. So, Grant was driving his Chevelle, which was 68, right?
Mm-hmm.
68 Chevelle. I had my 78 Olds Cutlass Supreme. And I think all three of us here have seen that.
Oh, yeah.
And then Recto had a 69, or was it 68?
Yeah.
68 GTO Judge, orange.
Nice.
Yeah,
It
beautiful.
was nice.
car.
It was a beautiful car. It was a nice car. So when we would go to Rogers, the old Rogers, Nebraska, they had, if you went to the side of the girls' gym, and you're probably not familiar with it, it's basically on the east side of Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
They had a parking lot where the students could park in. And of course, we had cool cars. We don't want anybody parked near us because they don't want to open up their car doors in our car.
Yeah,
And
had to back him in
we
and
had to back them in and
Turn
turn
the
an
wheel.
angle and everything else
turn the
like
wheel,
that.
show off your rims.
Yeah, rev the motor up before you shut it off. Trying to remember how this went. I remember Recto pulled in.
Not rectal,
We did.
recto.
I said rectal.
Did you say rectum?
No.
Okay.
How dare you make fun of somebody's heritage? Recto.
Got it.
Recto.
No, I just couldn't hear him very well.
So he pulled into the parking lot with his GTO judge. He pulled forward into the parking space. And me and Grant thought it would be a good idea if we decided to pull behind him. Kind of block him in. Recto's car was here. We pulled here. Grant pulled there. Recto was a smaller guy. I think he was Filipino, was he not?
Yeah. Super nice guy.
Really, really great guy. But he just, in that car, it was maybe difficult for him to see blind spots or behind him. I think I was probably a little bit more cushion area. Grant pushed the envelope a little bit to get closer to make the dramatic effect, so to speak.
Yep.
So Recto decides he wants to start backing up. Sees me. Recto sees me. Starts laughing. So I'm starting to back up a little bit. Never even sees Grant. Just backs right into him. 68s. Two cherry and you got my ratty old Cutlass 79, it's like 10 years older or newer. And all I can see when this is happening was like slow motion. As you see Grant just sitting there, he had this smile on his face at first, like, yeah, we got him. And all of a sudden, he wasn't stopping. And all of a sudden, you can just see, and you can just look at Grant when he just doesn't stop, and he's like, his face never changed. It went from a smile, just never changed. And then Recto's like, what? What happened?
What I hit?
Yeah.
Jumps out of his car, goes around and looks. Felt horribly bad. Grant had like a little dent in his car.
Yeah. Front fender.
Yep.
Right around the
I'll
headlight.
never forget that look. Like no fun whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean,
He did feel bad. Not a mark, I might add, on
Yeah.
his car.
Wow.
It just didn't.
Well, that's good.
But
Yeah, it was
my
crazy.
car. Yeah, that was like, oh god, that was. It's like, oh, that's the last time I used my car as a blocking agent. I'm not gonna do that anymore. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that
It's
anymore.
crazy.
Hey, we had also talked about, and we haven't addressed this in a bit, but we had talked about taking a guy's trip before. with all
Yeah, so
of
I'd
us.
love to do that.
And we started down that road, and then stuff happens, which is very difficult because everybody's schedules, very, very difficult sometimes to do that. Nathan's probably the easiest guy to do because he just goes, just tell me where, tell me when, and I'll be there, right? That's what you said.
I always travel for work, so it's another week traveling, so just when and where, right? I'm the easy one, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we had talked about a little bit about, was it Vegas or something we talked about? And then I think Phil at that point said, I just came back. Or I'm about to go there.
Yeah.
I wish I had him on the phone, but it was one of the two. But anyways, so he was like, can we look at something else? And then we started talking back and forth. And then the conversation went cold. And then we were like, well, we'll come back to it. So I think it's probably time that we come back to it. We start talking about it again and maybe something down at some point.
It's a brilliant idea. I mean, it doesn't have to be extravagant. I mean, let's do something with reason, if finances are an issue or time's an issue. I mean, it sounds like you have the resources to be able to make more of a jump to come over to this part of the country. And
I mean, I'm out with my travels. I travel across the country, right? So when Grant was like, when we were talking about Vegas, I'm like, I'll just make that my week to go to LA, right? And then on the way home, I'll just stop in Vegas, right? So that's why it's easy for me because I'm already on a plane enough of a chunk of the time. So whatever week we pick, I can just tie it to that work trip. You know what I mean? So that's why it's easy for me. So that's why wherever you guys pick, I'll be like, sure.
to be honest with you, quite frankly, going to Vegas is actually a lot cheaper than what people think.
Right.
Yeah, it's in Nevada, and we live in Ohio. But the fact is that's probably one of the biggest premier tourist spots in the country.
Sure.
There's constant deals, constant deals. You could literally fly to Vegas, stay there in Vegas, cheaper than you could flying down to Orlando, and stay in Orlando.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
Well, since we've got the committee is here, why don't we just have one of us kind of in charge of, okay, by the first of the year, said person is going to provide some information on what they found for deals. You know, because I mean, we got the holidays now. You got, you know, Thanksgiving coming up. You got Christmas, you know, right behind it. So that makes it next to impossible for this kind of a travel, at least for me. So, but come the first of the year, I think we'd be open up to the conversation, say, okay, when this year? Because I'd like to do it in 24. I'd like to do it. I don't know what everybody's got going on for travel arrangements, or if we already have stuff that's booked or stuff that you know that you're doing.
Just availability
You know,
too.
yeah. So
I mean, not everybody. I mean, I get 6 weeks of vacation, but I don't know what everybody else is, you know, getting through their employment or whatnot. So,
right. Jim, do you know of any existing trips or stuff that you've got going on that might impede in 2024?
No.
All right, that's an easy answer. No.
not going to Hazard County or anything like that.
No, we did that. Did that. That was a good time. Should we tell one story about Hazard? You want to do that?
Sure.
Probably my favorite one that we've never really addressed or touched on real quick is Jim and I we get to Covington, which is the town square of Covington was Hazard Square. That's where Hazard County was, where the Duke boys would go into town, to Cooter's Garage and all that. That was the same filming spot, right? So we were driving around it the first night that we got there. We got kind of late, and it was
It
starting.
was a circle, though, right?
It
It was more of a circle.
more of a
before,
circle.
I think, in the show, but now it's more of a square.
Oh, no kidding.
It's still got rounded corners, but it's, more
Yeah,
of a square.
and I think that circle is larger now than it was before.
Yeah, I
It's
think
opened up.
maybe a
I think
little
it's bigger diameter, but anyways, so we get there, it's kind of late, so then we decide to go back on a whim. We go, hey, let's go back to Covington, and I don't know if we're gonna go there for lunch or what we're gonna do, but it's 10 in the morning, right? And we come
You're
around.
talking about the next day.
Yeah, the next morning.
We wasn't on a win.
Were we going back to see something specific, or was it because we wanted to get some more pictures or
We
something?
went at night. We showed up at night because we wanted to eat at the restaurant there in the square.
Right.
And we knew the next day we were going to be going back to look at everything.
Okay, because you know, right.
And we hadn't seen, we walked the square the night before in the dark, but we wanted to see it during the
During the
day
day.
and see anything else that
That's
there
right.
was.
That's right.
Yes.
So that was
we
our
went
day
back.
trip. That's right.
Yeah.
So we come around the corner and Jim's driving, and I'm navigating and I'm in the seat, you know, next to him obviously, and I'm going through this booklet that I had, and I'm kind of planning, okay, we've been here, we did this, okay, today this is where we're going to go, and you know, just kind of looking at some stuff. And Jim looks up and he goes, oh my God, it's here, oh my God, and I'm like looking around thinking like somebody's going to hit us. That's what I'm thinking, like, you know, because the way he's acting. And I look up, and right across from like the clock tower, I call it, but the you know, the clock tower for the square there, is a '69 orange General Lee parked out front.
No kidding.
And I went, oh my God, what are the odds? It's 10 o'clock on a Wednesday?
The night before when we had dinner, I think we told the waitress what we were there for. And she goes, oh, that's so strange. She goes, everybody that comes in here comes in for was it Vampire Diaries?
Vampire Diaries.
She goes, you know, we have lots of tourists, and they're always talking about the Vampire Diaries that was filmed there, you know, so she goes, but you're the first customers I've ever had that come for the Dukes of Hazzard. She goes, but I know it was filmed here, and I know it's big, too. She goes, there's a guy around here that lives locally that has a General Lee. He comes around from time to time. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But that was it.
It's Bo Schneider.
And then just happenstance the next day, he's there.
Yeah. So we
That's crazy.
So we park our General Lee, because I put 01 magnets on the side of the doors on my car, my orange car. So we pull up and we park in front of the clock tower, right?
And what were we wearing?
What are you guys wearing?
Was it
Not
the
wearing
blue shirts?
button-up shirts?
Was it those ugly ass blue shirts?
It was the Jaws. Yes.
Oh my
The
God.
Jaws shirts.
Oh,
Oh, it was so gross.
I was thinking that either you or one of you is going to be wearing a blue denim button-up shirt, and the other one
No.
was going to be wearing a tan
Oh.
button-up shirt
God,
and
no.
jeans.
We would have.
With the snap buttons.
If we'd have thought about that, we would have done that.
We were wearing a shirt, some Jaws shirt. What do they say? I don't know what they say.
Was it the
Oh,
Jaws?
no, it wasn't
Or was it
Jaws.
the some bitch shirt?
It was the some bitch.
Oh, those are so
We were wearing the
ugly.
some bitch shirts from the
Yeah.
that's from
I'm
the
going to
Nationals.
put those up.
That's right.
So you can see it, but it's the least flattering T-shirts that either one of us have ever worn.
Well, I think they're like 2 sizes too small,
Yeah.
so you can imagine what 2 guys like us look in these shirts.
Oh my God, it was like
I mean, we fit right in down
they
there.
were big. Oh yeah, they were big shirts too, and it says right on there with Buford T. Justice on the front of it. It says "some bitch" on the front of the shirt, and it's like, oh my God, they were so ugly. So thank God we went to a local store found some actual Dukes of Hazzard T-shirts that says, you know, the real Hazzard County or something like that on it. So we bought a pair of those. We walk out to the car, strip off our shirts in all of our glory, change our shirts right there. Like, who cares? We're in Georgia, nobody cares.
Little moms are walking their little kids covering their eyes.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
We
So
look
people are
worse in the
screaming.
shirts, trust me.
So, so anyways, that guy's over there, the owner of the General Lee, and he's talking to this other couple. So we go walking over by the car, taking a couple pictures and that. And then the guy, these people go away, and he looks at us because he knows that we want to say hi to him. So we're just talking to him for a minute, and he goes, "It's the funniest thing. I got a friend. Correct me on this story. I got a
First,
friend.
what did he say first? The first thing he said to you was, I like your shirt.
Oh, I like your shirts." Yeah, that was before
And
we
then he
changed
looks
our
over
shirt.
at me and he goes, obviously I like yours too.
Yeah, because it was really quite queer.
Dorks.
Yes.
Oh,
Did he
yeah.
look at you and say, "I appreciate how easy it is to read them because they're stretched so tight"?
Oh my
he
God,
did
it was horrible. God, those are ugly. Anyways, I'm never wearing that shirt again. So he's just talking to us, but he made the comment. He says, "Well, it's a funny thing." He says, "I have a friend that was in town that said he was going to come into Covington, and he says that I wasn't planning on taking the general out today. It was not on my agenda. I wasn't going to do it. But I just told him, I said, well, if you're going to be in town, I'll pull the general out and I'll drive up." And he says, and we got here a little bit ago. We did whatever we were going to do. And he says, and I was just getting ready to leave when you guys walked up. So it was like, what are the odds that in the 20-minute window this guy was actually in Hazard Square or Hazard County, right? That he's there when we pull in.
That's really cool.
So it was like the vacation gods are smiling on us. You know, it was just, am I saying this right? It was really good. It was really good.
I probably would have been like, wow.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He talked to us and told us, you know, about some other people that lived in the area that he knew, because they're all in the generally clubs, you know, and he knew a couple other guys, but they moved on. They weren't in the area anymore. But
Right,
He
right.
talked about reunions that they've had in the square, and he also told us to go to the
Welcome Center.
Welcome Center.
Yep.
He goes, if you get a chance, walk down to Welcome Center for Covington. He goes, they have a full display of Dukes of Hazzard stuff.
No kidding.
From the
Yeah.
show, when it was
On
filmed.
the show. And we did. We walked down there, and yeah, they had In the Heat of the Night was filmed down there. So they had all kinds of stuff from that show. They had
Yeah.
Dukes Hazzard stuff and all kinds of stuff from Vampire Diaries.
You guys went down to the Welcome Center?
Yes.
Yes,
It
it was
was
walking
so
distance.
cool.
It was
Oh,
literally
okay.
walking distance,
Yes.
yeah. Just outside of the main square area. It was a street over, and it was no issue at all finding it. And they actually had things in there that was kind of cool, like they had some of the doors from the police car. They had an actual stool seat that was used in the boar's nest, right? And some other stuff. They had one of Boss Hogg's actual hats. You know, it's just kind
And
of
they had
neat
a
stuff. to
tram
see.
service down there, which I think they gave tours.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything for them, but I don't know if it's certain times of the year and what it's for. But it was really neat. We didn't expect it. I mean, just this little.
Yeah.
This
This
little
being
nothing
this
town,
this
you know.
far along after the show, actually.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, the other cool thing about it too is that they said, well, you know, it's been 41 years or whatever it was that year, and they said there's going to be another, like, when the 45th or the 50th, where we're going to have a whole bunch of generalese down here. They're going to be people with, you know, the police cars. They're going to do all this kind of stuff. So we're trying to. I'm in contact with them. I'm on their Facebook page, and they're like, we're friends that way through their Welcome Center, and they're supposed to contact us whenever
They
this is.
said that
but-
when they have their shows, the square has parking on both sides of the street, and they said that definitely the inside square is just filled with cars.
Hazard
all the
County
way around.
cars.
And it's all Dukes of Hazzard cars,
Hazard County
all
cars.
generalese, and sheriff's cars and some Jeeps and some
Maybe a
of
Boss
the
Hog car,
Mustangs,
one of those little
maybe.
Cadillac convertibles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they had that
They
too.
just filled the square up, and then, you know, they shut the roads down. Everybody comes in, and
That would be so cool.
that would be cool.
It was just.
Do they have a picture at the Welcome Center of some other?
They had some cast member pictures and
No, I
stuff
thought
that
they
was
had
in
some
there.
pictures of some meets at the square.
There was one that was done like 5 years before we were there, or whatever it
Yeah, there were a
was.
bunch of
It'd be like a
generals.
Comic-Con where everybody dresses up like
Oh, that'd
characters.
be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Daisy.
there's some people
Daisy.
dressed up.
You're gonna go as Daisy?
It's a new world out there, Jim.
Don't judge me.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You don't want to see me in shorts like that.
Ew. So yeah, it was.
So no, but to finish that story, isn't that the car? Didn't you guys film him? I was trying to remember when you got somebody. You filmed somebody leaving the square. Was you?
Yes.
That was him.
That was
That was
him,
him.
right?
Yeah. As soon as we got done to having that conversation with him and talking with him, he he got in his car, and of course we're standing there. We start recording him, and he backs up. As he pulls away, hits the Dixie horn, and
No kidding.
makes the corner and takes off. And we're just looking at each other like little kids, going,
It's so cool because he blew the horn, and of course we're recording, and we're like, yeah, you know, and but people in the square that were sitting were clapping.
Yeah.
They're all like,
No kidding.
Yeah,
yeah,
it was really
it's-
kind of.
they know what the square is. You know, they live there.
It was a
so they know.
fanboy moment for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was a fanboy moment. So
That's awesome.
That was a neat
That is
trip.
cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, we just had a visitor here. Deb's mom, my mother-in-law Judy, was here, and she brought over a wonderful dinner for us, and we had some sloppy joes and some other stuff, and it was very good. So I want to put a
Yes, it
shout out
was.
to Judy for that.
Yes. Thank you,
By the
Judy.
way,
Thank you for that.
By the way, guys, there's no manwich in that. That was homemade sloppy
Yes,
joes.
yes.
Oh yes.
It was delicious.
It was good.
We call it a Grantwich, is what that's called.
No, we don't.
Such a wonderful person.
No one calls it a Grantwich.
I tried. It's not going to go
It's
over
not sticking.
apparently.
It's like fetch, man. It ain't gonna work.
Right. Like those damn T-shirts. It did not work at all. So, but Judy was here and did that, and then Uncle Mark was here, Mark Spalding, and he's had a trip that he was going to be on, so he stopped by and saw us. And there's a story that he told me. He says, you need to tell this story. And I said, okay, because Mark likes these stories that sometimes I get from work and some of the weird things that happened to me on the job when I was doing finance specifically. And the quick story is that there was this guy that came in with his girlfriend and sits down. He's very ghetto, okay? And I just have to say that just because you'll understand the punchline kind of this thing. And it sounds like a punchline, but it really happened. And so I'm doing this application. It's like, okay, what's your name? Okay. Because he's trying to get pre-approved for a car. What's your name? Okay. What's your date of birth? Okay. Got that. Right there. Okay. Got your address. All right. Okay. And I said, I need your home phone number. And he just gives me this look like. And I said, can I get the number? And he looks at me very like he's mad, right? And he goes, what's my bitch got to do with it? And I'm like, I said, I'm sorry, excuse me? And he goes, you asked for my hoe's number. What's my bitch got to do with it? And I'm like, no, sir. I said, home number. He said, oh, it's 419. Da, 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 da. I mean, you can't make that up, man.
No.
So he was really adamantly mad. And his girlfriend was just standing there, just like, yeah, what do I got to do with it? You know, she wasn't offended, didn't care. But I always told Mark that story. He goes, tell me that story again. He always laughs. He just thinks it's funny. So,
That's probably why he was inquiring about all the stories I would have.
oh yeah, I'm sure yours are going to top mine with no doubt at all. But what else we got, Jim? Anything else on the agenda? Any other stories?
So, you want me to mention the movie?
Yeah, hit it up. Go ahead.
Okay, we talked about on our last podcast about the drive-in theaters.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys heard that?
I heard it, yeah.
I was asking Grant the movie we saw the most when we were kids was Eat My Dust.
Yes.
He could not remember.
I do not remember that.
Okay, so I watched it last night.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good one.
It's old.
It's old. Good Ron Howard, and I did not know that Clint Howard was in it also.
Really?
Yeah, and Clint Howard is, Ron Howard was probably 18, 19, and Clint Howard was younger, and he was definitely small than everybody.
Wow.
He's a short guy.
I think
anyways.
Ron Howard was that old back then?
He was a young guy.
76.
In 76, yeah.
I don't know what year he was born.
I guess the timeline would be right. I'm just trying to figure out how old he was.
75.
When did Happy Days come out?
About the same time. No, maybe later.
Maybe a little earlier. Maybe that
Was it later? Yeah, he's got to be like 15 years older than us.
Really?
Ron Howard, yeah. Yeah.
It's weird to think about, right?
It is
That
weird
we're
to
that
think about.
We're that close, but we probably are.
The one interesting thing about the movie, I did get to watch it and see, recall, because I don't recall what it was all about. I remember Ron Howard stole that number 8, that 8-ball Camaro, orange, which he did. But his dad was the sheriff. Okay, and so it's this kid that steals his car, but his dad's the sheriff, and it's a small town, And the guy that drove the car was played by the guy Barnaby Jones. What was his name? Barnaby.
Was it
What his
Barnaby
name?
Jones?
No, the guy in Partridge Family. The
David Cassidy?
no. Be the manager, I guess. Was he the manager of the family?
No, David
The
was-
old guy.
I don't remember the old guy's name, but I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
He drove the car. But the kids, he steals the car and all his friends get in the car, including Clint Howard, plays it. They all get in it. So there's 6 of them in the car and they're driving, and it's just being teenagers, and they start singing this, they're singing this song. They're just singing all different kinds of songs, but they play this one clip, they're singing a song.
How's it
and
go?
I can't think of it right now.
You just saw the movie last night.
It's the same song.
Calling BS on that.
It's the same song that Robert Shaw and the cast in Jaws, they sing when they're in the boat.
You mentioned that last time. On the
I did.
What is
last.
the name of that song?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Can't remember it. Have to look it up.
Hey, also,
I do have a clip of it if you want me to play it.
yeah, go ahead and find it. In the meantime, I did look up Ron Howard. He's 69 this year. 69.
He is,
69.
really?
He's 69 years old. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So he's what?
Well, let me see when. I'm going to look up when it happened. When did it
Right.
happen?
12 or 17 years older than us. Yeah, go ahead, Heather.
That's not it. That's not
Uh-oh, that's not it.
January 15th, 1974 was the first episode of Happy Days.
Wow, 74? We were 4 years old.
Yeah.
Jim was 14 or so, wasn't he?
So I'm assuming that if Ron Howard was playing Richard Cunningham, would have to be somewhere around 18, 19 in that.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in school. Joni was, right?
Well, if
it.
he's...
When Happy Days started,
Yeah.
he was in school.
Yeah, they
Was
high
he in school?
Yeah, they
He
were
was
in
a
high
high
school.
schooler.
He was
yes.
high schooler?
Yeah, they played high school.
So
So if he was in high school, he's got to be somewhere around 14, 18 years old.
That's about right.
Well,
So we were...
season 1, remember Chuck, the brother that disappeared, was a senior in high school and a letterman.
Yeah, but he disappeared.
And Richie wanted to be a letterman, so he was
Right,
playing a
right.
freshman, but he probably would have been 19 or 20 years old in real life, right?
So I mean, yeah, if he was...
Well, think about it
so-
like this, Larry. When you and I were
So he'd
born...
be 16 years older than us.
Yeah, when we were born, he was 16. So 4 years later, when he started Happy Days in 74, he was 20. He's 20 years old.
Yeah.
20 years old.
So I guess math is right.
Yep.
I mean, that
It just doesn't seem possible.
yeah, it's just weird.
But
Ready?
yeah, I'm ready, man. Go ahead. Just put it on your mic.
And it went right to my head. You don't remember them singing that in Jaws?
I do.
I didn't
That's
see
the
Jaws the
first-
musical, no, so I don't remember that part.
They sing that in Jaws that's when the boat's attacked.
Yes, that's when they were all in the boat
drunk.
together
After
and it
they
was
tell their
night.
stories, then they start singing that, and they're all getting and they're singing so loud that they actually don't even hear the boat get hit the first time.
The Jaws.
I remember that
Yep.
part on the movie, but I don't remember the song that they were singing.
Yeah,
that was it.
I remember because
I
what
thought
was
that
what was the story? Was it the USS Indianapolis that was sank and then all the
Yes.
guys got, is that the same boat? Because he was talking about that, right? He was talking about that he was one of those guys on that boat and was one of the only survivors. So he's telling that creepy story about all the sharks attacking all the guys in the water, and
Then they compared scars.
yep, and they were drinking, and then they started singing that song,
And then one of them just
Yeah.
started singing it, and then the rest of them started singing it, and they all just started singing.
Yep.
You guys don't remember that?
I haven't seen Jaws in forever.
Oh, how?
yeah, like, Jim, how
It's a
have you
classic.
You gotta see it once a month.
It's on all the time.
Does anybody have any stories that you are thinking of from high school or from anything else that you wanted to
Grant,
bring up
I
and talk about?
have. This is. I don't know
We
about you
just
guys. This has been.
scratched the
It's been
surface.
great. Yeah, I mean, this is. We could be here all night
Yes.
until tomorrow morning and still probably haven't gotten through all the stories we need to. Or not need to, but
No, it's okay.
this is amazing. I had a
Aren't we
lot
in
of
enough
fun.
trouble.
I had a
Yeah.
great time tonight. I'm glad you guys invited me on. And to be honest with you,
Absolutely. I told you. we were
Well, we're very, very happy. I think I can speak for Jim when I tell you that we've been overly geeked up about tonight. wanting to have you guys come over, and it's a twofer for us. I mean, we get to get both of you, and it's awesome. That's really, so we're really happy that you guys both came on here and did that. And Jim's nodding. I'll give him his camera back so he can nod.
I was not in your camera, it's okay.
Were you in there?
Yes.
All right. So Nathan, thank you for making the trip and coming out special for this. I know we're going to visit anyways, regardless, but it's great to have you on, man. It's great to have you back.
Always great to come back to Toledo.
That's awesome, man. And then of course Larry.
Yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed this.
I'm sorry that you were free, but it worked out anyways. You know.
Times are tough, and I need my fixes.
Right. Hey, you know what? Why don't you do this story, Miller? Why don't you wrap up and tell the story about your dad chasing you down the street? Come on, let's finish up with Butch. This is
I'm
the
gonna
way
get
to do
started.
it.
I mean, I really miss him. I do. He's was my best friend. No
Awesome.
offense, but when he passed away, he was my best friend. But I'll never forget we were at my house,
Yes.
and me and Dad were just going back and forth like we did so many times. And my dad said something to me about, you think you can outrun me. You think you're better than me. You can outrun me. He
You're
goes,
not faster than me or something. Yeah.
And-
I was
and I was
standing
like-
right there for the whole thing.
I was like, all right, whatever, old man. I can outrun you. Come on, let's go then. I just bolt out the front door, man, and I'm running. I'm like, there's no way. I'm an athlete. This
Yeah,
is when
you're
I
in
was playing
football. You're in
football.
football, yeah.
I'm like,
Doing 2-a-days, all that
yeah.
stuff.
So I'm just running down Bancroft, just crossed over Van Ness. I turn around to look.
He's
Now-
gaining.
And he's right there.
He's right there. My dad had this blue winter coat. It was kind of like like a raincoat material.
Right.
And it was bright blue. And my dad had his hands in his pockets
In his front pockets.
and his cigarette dangling out of his mouth, sort of like Bob Henning when he got hit with the baseball. And his glasses on, just running after me like it was nothing.
Oh,
just
jeez.
like
Yeah.
I lost it. I collapsed on the ground. I'm dying laughing. My dad jumps on me and he just starts pummeling me. I'm laughing the whole time
God,
because I'm
yeah.
still thinking about him running after me.
Yeah,
But it
with
was,
his hands in his front pockets.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
was
Dad, pull your hands
hilarious.
out of your
It's like,
pockets and sprint.
Why, Dad? You could have at least looked menacing, It didn't have
so
to be
funny.
so funny. but
Never lost a cigarette.
Yeah, never lost.
Well, he's
it.
probably hanging on to the cigarette packs in his pocket. This way he couldn't take it out. He's like, I'm not losing my cigarettes.
It was so funny. That was,
Right.
that was so
How,
funny.
how sad is it that your father, who probably wasn't running or training for sports or anything, with his hands in his pockets and a cigarette in his lips, was on your heels, right?
I think I would have been all right if I would have never turned around. If I would have never turned around, I probably would have ran all the way to Reynolds Road and never stopped.
Unless
That's how
you're
much in
taking his
shape I
hands out of
was.
his pockets.
Yeah, it was just,
It got
I turned
serious.
around and it was like the funniest thing in the world. I don't know why it was so funny.
I don't know how he stayed with it.
I don't know
was-
how he
He's
did
a
either.
full-fledged, multiple-day smoker. You know what
But
I
my
mean?
dad was one of those guys that when
just-
he was working, he always had that look to him like I'm busy.
Right.
Now, my dad could probably be walking, because at the time that I'm thinking of in my mind, this is when he worked at Import Automotive.
Sure.
They had the body shop on one end, and then they had, the main building at the other end, and there was like a yard in between. So my dad would often have to walk across and get parts or whatever, go punch in, go punch out, go to the bathroom, whatever.
Right.
And my dad he was just always that brisk, really fast walk. I'm really busy. That's just the way he was. He just always looked like he was always busy, and he could have been doing nothing.
Right.
Comes walking over to you really quick. When I used to work there, he'd walk over really quick. I'm like,
Yeah.
you always pay attention because he's it's like with meaning, and you're like, what's going on, Dad? I'm just seeing what you're doing. All right.
Did you have to walk
I'm
over
like,
like
all right.
that?
Yeah, I'm like, I thought something was wrong,
Why are you coming up on me like that, bro?
Yeah, so yeah.
Come
he
up on me,
was-
bro.
He was like that.
So, can you imagine living next to the Emorys, and you're just having a casual afternoon, and you hear this door go bang, and then you look out the window because you're like, why did the door go bang? And you see Larry sprinting, and then you see Butch behind him with his hands in his pockets and a blue leather or pupper jacket, right?
Sure.
Chasing him.
Sure.
Hands in a pocket.
And depending on how long the neighbors had lived next to you, they either were like,
Oh, there they
oh
go."
my, or they were like, hey, they're doing it again.
Right.
I mean, it could have been no worse than my sister driving the car through the garage. So
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
that was an eventful house. So.
Next time we get together, we're going to have to talk about You driving through the Bat Cave.
Yes, that's. I mean, and you have to be the one to tell the story because you tell it the absolute best. It's the absolute best because I mean, right down from the going to pick Mindy Post was her name. Going to pick her up, and I'm like puffing my chest out, even though it was like if I turned sideways, it disappeared.
Right.
Going to pick her up and the
Yeah.
drive in, it was hilarious to me. You say, yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Oh, that'll be good. We'll have you on again. We'll do it over the telephone or something. We definitely got to talk about. That's how you got that nickname of Batman.
Oh,
and
definitely,
With the
yeah.
Batmobile and that is the driving through there. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. But I want to thank you guys again. Thank my co-host Jim. So pardon me, brother. Appreciate you. And I guess that's all we got for today. I hate to end this thing, man, because I'm just having such a good time with you guys. But we all got lives, bro.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Getting to
It's
see
great.
you. I think it's good seeing you again.
You guys got
man.
enough
You look
content to
wonderful.
listen to for
You
the
do
week?
too. It's been too long.
For sure. What's that, Jim?
You guys got enough content to listen to this week? No.
Oh yeah. No, I just gotta go through edits, and we'll get it handled. We'll
If
get it
Greg
down.
never get it edited.
Yeah. Well, I'll get it handled.
Still one episode behind.
Well, I got one part of one
One
episode
part of
left.
it.
This is going to be like 3 episodes, isn't it?
Yes.
This is going to be what? This 3? This would be 3, right? So this is episode 3. We're going to have 3 separate parts. So be looking for it. Mean.